Hello, my name is Noah Oldham, and I have the privilege of serving on the board for the O'Fallon Bombers baseball organization. Our board is filled with men and women, parents and coaches that love baseball, but more importantly, we love what baseball can be for the boys that we love. So as we embark on a new year of Bomber baseball, we want to kick things off right. And yes, I'm a board member, but I'm also a coach. And most importantly, I'm a parent. So in order to help us all envision what lies ahead in this next season, I'd like to share with you a few of the challenges and encouragements that I'm sharing with my bomber. In fact, I have 6 things that I want my bomber to know. Number 1, play blessed and not entitled. Play blessed and not entitled. I want our boys to understand that you've been given a gift. Not every kid is born into a family that loves baseball. Not every kid is born into a family that can afford to play the kind of baseball that we're playing. Playing for any select team, let alone an organization at the level of the Bombers, is a blessing that no one deserves. It is a privilege. It isn't a right, it's a gift. Watching you boys play baseball is one of the greatest joys of my life and the life of parents and coaches in the Bombers organization. And man, you guys are good. You're really good. But what you need to hear from me is you aren't good just because, or even mainly because you've worked hard. Not yet. Most of you aren't old enough to have given the necessary work to develop your skill to the level beyond just being naturally good. You are good because you were born with natural athletic ability. I tell my son, God gave you that gift. So understand that it is a gift. Every time you step on the field for practice, for a game, you are receiving a gift that not everyone has been given. So live blessed, not entitled. So how do you do that? Well, 3 things. First, give thanks. Who allowed you to play? Your parents? God? Your grandparents? Say thank you. Let them know how thankful you are. Number 2, work hard. How do you prove that you're thankful for a gift? Well, you enjoy it. If I were to buy you a new Xbox and you said thank you, but you never even took it out of the box, I'd highly doubt if you were actually thankful for that gift. But if you said thanks and every time I came over, I saw you playing with it, man, I would know that you are thankful for that gift. And then thirdly, don't complain. Even the best gifts take effort to enjoy. It's going to be hard, but don't complain. Enjoy the gift, play blessed, not entitled. Number two, character is better than competency. Character is better than competency. If you grow up and you're good at baseball, but you're not good at life, you have gained very little. If you make your way through the Bombers organization and you learn to keep your eye on the ball, but you don't keep your eye on the things that really matter in life, like loving and serving others, then we have failed as coaches. I grew up a year younger than a guy named Josh. And Josh was the best athlete in our school. He played football, baseball, basketball, and track, the 4 major sports of our high school. And he was the best at all of them. He was the starting fullback, and he led our team in touchdowns his senior year. He started on the basketball team 3 straight years, and he's in the 2,000-point club. He started at first base on the state qualifying baseball team. He was one of the best all-around athletes I've ever known personally. But Josh was a jerk. He made fun of everyone who wasn't in his close circle of friends. He was mean to the girls he didn't think were pretty enough. He disrespected his coaches. He didn't listen to his teachers. And you know what? Josh never made it out of my hometown. Josh's dad owned this boat that used to be kept at a local lake where their family would vacation. And years after I graduated, I came home for Christmas and I saw that boat, this huge boat parked out in his parents' driveway. And I asked my brother, who's now a doctor in our hometown, hey, what's Josh doing these days? And he said, you should go ask him yourself. He's living in his parents' boat because he's homeless and jobless. You see, Josh developed as an athlete, and that got him pretty far in his teenage years, but he never developed the character necessary to be a man. And he struggled ever since because character is better than competency. That's number 2. Here's number 3. Great skill requires great sacrifice. Great skill requires great sacrifice. And you can be great at baseball, but you're going to have to work. Most of you guys weren't the best kid or were the best kid on your Parks and Rec team. Most of you guys could go play for any number of other teams in the area and be one of, if not the best player on the team. As I said, you're blessed. You've been given a gift to play sports. But there comes a day, and some of you have already experienced this, where your gift runs out and hard work is necessary to go to the next level. One of the great things is that you have people all around you in the Bombers organization, in your family, and on that team that believe in you. Your parents spend hours washing your uniforms and taking you to practice and driving you to your games and cheering you on. You have volunteer coaches who work all day long and then come home to spend a few hours a couple times a week to help you get better at the game that you love. But none of that will get you where you want as a baseball player if you aren't willing to sacrifice. It's been said, discipline is remembering what you want most, not just what you want now. Discipline is remembering what you want most, not just what you want now. Do you want to play baseball at the next level? Do you want to play college baseball? Well, do you understand what that will take? Hand-eye coordination drills, batting practice and tee work, playing catch for hours and hours, working on that slider when no one's watching, learning to drive the ball to the opposite field, staying disciplined in the box to lay off those balls at your eyes and at your ankles. It's going to take hours and hours of practice, not to mention hours and hours in the gym getting stronger. And the discipline to eat the right kinds and the right amounts of food, to get enough sleep, enough water, to stretch, to study. There will come a day when you have to choose between what you want most and what you want now. Do you want to spend the upcoming off season playing video games for hours on end, or are you willing to get out in that cold garage and work on glove drills? Do you want to get faster out of the box and down the line to first base? Are you willing to cut out most of those sugary drinks and chips and cookies and cakes from your diet to eat healthy proteins, carbs, and fats to fuel your body for developments? My best friend in high school, his name was James. He was one of the greatest baseball players I've ever known. But it took a tremendous amount of hard work and sacrifice to get there. You see, James's family was pretty poor. So he didn't have the money for all the best bats and gloves and shoes and accessories. His parents never came to practices, and they almost never came to games. His home life was rough, and so in high school, he spent most of his evenings and weekends at my house or another one of our best friends' houses. He was short, and as a younger kid, he was chubby and kind of slow. But you want to know what else James was? He was determined. James got in the weight room. James asked around and learned all kinds of speed drills and pitching drills. James got in the batting cage whenever he could, and if he was by himself, he took a tee. If he had a buddy, he did soft toss. Hours and hours and hours he worked. He lost weight, he got faster, he practiced, and he got better. And our junior year of high school, James was named the Illinois High School Baseball Player of the Year. He became an all-state pitcher, an all-state infielder, and he led our team to a fourth place finish at state after a devastating loss in the semifinals off a crazy walk-off home run play by a school twice our size. James was great. You can be too, but great skill requires great sacrifice. Number 4, I want to challenge you. I want my bomber to know to sacrifice the right things, but not the best things. Sacrifice the right things, but not the best things. So while skill requires great sacrifice, there are things in life that you should not be willing to sacrifice. First, don't sacrifice your faith. Baseball is great, but baseball is not ultimate. Baseball does not define you. So if baseball starts to turn you into someone that you can't recognize, if baseball makes you do things or say things that aren't in line with your character or who you want to be, it's time to put baseball in check. Don't sacrifice your faith. Secondly, don't sacrifice your family. I don't really have healthy rhythms of vacation in my life because growing up, we didn't take a lot of vacations. We were poor and my parents had to work a lot, so we didn't have a lot of time or money for vacations. But we spent all of our time as a family going to games for my 2 brothers and myself. And This was before the world knew anything about year-round select sports leagues. Listen, some of you guys do so many activities. You go to school. You play multiple sports. You play an instrument in the band. All of this can be so very good. But here's what I know. At the end of life, and I know this because I have sat with lots of people who are about to die. At the end of life, people aren't wishing for more time to play sports. They're wishing for more time to spend with their family. Don't sacrifice your family. And then thirdly, don't sacrifice your fun. Ultimately, baseball is a sport. By definition, it's a game. Games are meant to be fun. And when games are no longer fun, people don't want to play them. Boys, make sure you don't get burned out on baseball at a young age. Play it. Every time you step on the field for practice or a game, play it with all of your heart. But when you're done, just be done. Work hard all season. Put some work in the off season, but then be a kid. Swim, run, play, jump on a trampoline, watch movies, pick your nose if you want to. Be a kid. Don't sacrifice your faith, your family, or your fun. And parents, this is for you too. Don't let them. Number five, I want my bomber to know that winning isn't everything. Winning isn't everything. My first season with the Bombers, when my son was 7U, we lost only one game in the entire regular season. We were good. We were very good. But we got to the very end and we lost the championship game of the tournament. And it was devastating. If we're honest, there were a lot of tears. But I remember walking by one of our players on our way out of the ballpark that day, and he had some tears in his eyes. And I said, "Hey, buddy, I'm sorry we lost, but guess what? Losing can be very, very good." Why? Because when you lose, you learn. When you win, especially when you blow people out, you learn very little about yourself. You're good, I guess, or maybe they're just really bad. There's really no way to truly know. But when you lose, you learn. You learn where you need to grow. You learn about the weak parts of your game. You learn about where you need to focus in the off season, and you learn that you're not perfect, and that's okay. Here's what you need to remember, boys. Baseball is a game of failure. Players that step up to the plate and fail 7 out of 10 times their whole career, you know what they're called? Hall of Famers. Winning isn't everything. And finally, number 6. The sixth thing I want my bomber to know, and I want all of you to know, is that one day baseball will end. One day baseball will end. If you haven't already experienced it, you will undoubtedly watch the tear-filled speeches of your favorite players as they announce their retirements. Even those who seem to be almost immortal because of their skill and longevity, they all get old. Boys, many of you may play baseball or another sport at the next level. I did. A few of you might even go on to play professionally. I have a few friends who did. But all of them will tell you the same thing that you will one day learn for yourself. One day, baseball will end. And when it does, you know what will be left? Being a son, being a brother, being a husband. Many of you are going to be a father. Many of you will go on to be a coach. So make sure of this. Play the game of baseball now, knowing that one day it will end. And because it will end, it cannot be the most important thing in your life. Baseball is a means to an end. Baseball can teach us discipline. Baseball can teach us hard work. Baseball can teach us teamwork and sportsmanship. Baseball can bring us a tremendous amount of joy. Baseball can help you develop into the man that you are meant to be, but it doesn't have to. So make sure, Bombers, that you play in such a way that it does. Bombers, parents, I am looking forward to a great season. I hope you are too. Thank you, and let's go Bombers.